evening and welcome to this edition of News Leader on 6. I'm Jim Fuller. In tonight's news, there's a new degree opportunity available at Motlow College. The Nashville Predators made a donation to Hospice of the Highland Rim, and several residents showed up at this week's Planning and Codes Committee meeting to voice concerns over variances being asked for by developers. We'll have all these stories and more on tonight's News Leader on 6.
I am tremendously blessed to be living at Parkview and very happy to be part of a loving and caring community.
Best thing you can say is this really a great place to live? That's all there is to it, no doubt about that.
It's your home. You just do what you would if you were at your private home. You know, we love it. It's great.
It's just like having a whole neighborhood around you, and it's fun.
It's just a great place to live.
I was skeptical about getting the COVID-19 vaccine. There are a lot of opinions being shared. But I had the chance to talk with my doctor about my concerns. He told me the vaccines are backed by decades of research, and that the vaccines are proven safe and effective. Now I'm protected and ready to put this pandemic behind us. Join the millions of Tennesseans who have decided to give COVID-19 vaccines a shot. Visit covid19.tn.gov to find an appointment today.
Hi, I'm Fran Gray with Alzheimer's Tennessee. When you receive a diagnosis of Alzheimer's disease for yourself or someone you love, please know that you do not have to go through this journey alone. Alzheimer's Tennessee is here for you to provide support and education, all the help you may need to get through this challenge. Our number is 931-434-2348. We encourage you to give us a call. We're here to help.
Welcome back. Motlow State Community College and the University of Tennessee Space Institute signed a partnership in June that brings the Megatronics degree to Tullahoma with 2 classes this fall and a plan to offer the full Megatronics Associate's degree at UTSI by fall of 2022. Motlow is a national leader in the development of a 2-year Megatronics degree. The Megatronics program is a high-demand and high-wage career field that is helping transform the local economy. Through this partnership, Motlow's Megatronics Associate degree is now available locally to those in the UTSI area. Dr. Michael Torrance, president of Motlow State Community College, stated, quote, "This partnership allows us to share the cost of expansion of this program so that it can reach more students. Megatronics is one of the highest demand degree programs in Middle Tennessee. It is critical that we recruit and graduate more students so that we can meet the regional workforce demand," end quote. UTSI Interim Executive Director James Symington and Motlow President Dr. Michael Torrance began discussing the new partnership in the fall of 2019. By spring 2020, UTSI proposed a location for a Megatronics lab at the UTSI Research Park in Tullahoma. Symington said that situating the Megatronics lab in UTSI Research Park offers an excellent environment for students' engagement and learning, and it is a feather in the cap of Franklin County and the state of Tennessee. Keith Hamilton, retired corporate manager of Bridgestone North America, said, quote, "We are excited about having a new presence in the area located between the 3 large high schools of Coffee County, Franklin County, and Tullahoma City. Also, as you know, there are many adult students in this area who would have an easier commute with the program at this location. Our hope is to bridge the gap between the associate's degree that Motlow has with the postgraduate programs at UTSI by getting UT Knoxville to deliver their bachelor program in engineering to the UTSI campus," end quote. At this time, students can begin their associate degree in Megatronics through Motlow at the UTSI site. Completing an associate's degree can move graduates directly into high-demand, high-wage jobs. Motlow has a greater than 95% job placement rate for its Megatronics program. Students can also choose to continue their education. Motlow has agreements with Tennessee State University, Middle Tennessee State University, and the University of Tennessee Chattanooga for Motlow graduates to pursue bachelor's degrees with seamless transfers and scholarship opportunities. For students interested in pursuing an advanced degree in engineering, UTSI can offer that graduates will be, or rather, the degrees that will be available to those graduates will be available also to local companies struggling to fill much-needed technical jobs. It expands the opportunity for those wanting to obtain skills by putting a training facility close to home. Larry Flatt, Motlow's Executive Director of Automation and Robotics Training Center, said, quote, "The partnership solidifies an educational pathway from secondary through postgraduate. It has the potential for extending our partnerships with organizations such as Arnold Engineering Development Complex," end quote. For more information on how to get started, contact Motlow at info@mscc.edu or call them at 931-393-1868. We'll be right back in a moment after these messages.
To be honest, I was skeptical about getting the COVID-19 vaccine.
I checked what the CDC says and spoke with my doctor about the potential side effects. It definitely made me much less anxious. She told me if I have some arm pain or feel tired, that's completely normal as my body builds a defense to the virus.
I was willing to take the vaccine to protect me, my family, and my friends.
Join the millions of Tennesseans who have decided to give COVID-19 vaccines a shot. Visit covid19.tn.gov to find an appointment today.
The individuals with dementia, those with Parkinson's, those that have maybe mobility issues, need caregivers. Well, those caregivers are 24 hours a day at home, and they never get a rest. And if they have to go to work, they're kind of out of luck. So that's why Trinity came into existence 25 years ago, to allow the caregivers to have a safe center where they could put their loved ones, know they would be well cared for, stimulated, fed good nutritious meals, have activities to their level, and then the caregiver can stop by and pick them up and go on home and have some continuity into their life.
Welcome back. On Tuesday morning, Rebecca King, Vice President of Community Relations for the Nashville Predators Organization, came to Tullahoma to give Hospice of the Highland Rim a generous donation to help them in their work.
So the Hospice of the Highland Rim Foundation provides for the unmet needs of terminally ill patients across a 10-county area in Middle Tennessee. And this morning we're privileged to be with folks from representatives of the Nashville Predators who have supported us now for, I think this is the third year, and have been a generous partner in providing financial aid, which we in turn are able to send to those that are terminally ill and their families. And just truly appreciate the support that's been given and what it enables us to do.
The Preds and the Preds Foundation are so proud to support organizations in Middle Tennessee, and for us to come out here to Tullahoma and to see and witness the stories of the lives that have been impacted. The work we do, we just raise money, which is very important, but we don't do the hard work. And we're proud to give money to organizations that are really making a great impact in the community, making a difference in people's lives, and we're just proud to align ourselves with such great organizations.
Most of our money goes towards helping people with food that need groceries in their home, or with the help with utilities. We do have rare occasions where we had a 4-year-old who was diagnosed with cancer, and they only had one picture of him, and it was a picture of him in a hospital bed up on the wall, and one of the social workers goes, "No, that's not right. You're going to get a good picture." So Hospice of the Highland Rim Foundation was able to provide that picture for him, and had one specially made and had it hung up in their house. So we do a lot of unusual requests too. But our biggest donation is for food and utilities.
When we hear these stories, we just want to give you all our money. Like the families need it, and for us to be up in Nashville but not know the needs of different communities, we rely on great organizations who are entrenched and respected within their community to utilize the money that we raise in ways that families need. So again, we're just proud to align ourselves with such a great, respected organization.
More news is coming up in a moment.
It's not invoice. It's not MSRP. It's not Christmas Day, although it may feel like it. It's the lowest prices in Middle Tennessee, period. Get to Stan McNabb Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram or Stan McNabb Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac before these prices are gone forever.
All right, the cat's out of the bag at Carroll Street Liquor in Tullahoma. Now you know where to go if you're planning a get-together and want the ideal wine or spirit. Party planning can be stressful, but at Carroll Street Liquor you'll find everything you need. Mixers, gift sets, and all of your favorite spirit brands. So if you're feeling the pressure to pull off the ideal party, come to Carroll Street Liquor and select among the seemingly endless supply of wines, spirits, gift sets, and more. Your perfect party, it's in the bag with Carroll Street Liquors.
So you've been meaning to do something healthy, commune with nature, get outdoors and meet new people. We have the perfect solution. Come hike with us. You can find a Tennessee Trails Association chapter near you, including Clarksville, Columbia Franklin, Highland Rim, Jackson, Knoxville, Oak Ridge, Memphis, Murfreesboro, Nashville, Plateau at Crossville, and Upper Cumberland. We're on the web at TennesseeTrails.org. It's fun, it's stress-free, and it's good for you. See you on the trails.
Welcome back. At Monday's Tullahoma Planning and Codes Commission meeting, a developer has asked to get a waiver for having to install ADA compliant sidewalks, which several residents spoke out against.
My name is Josh Sudbury. I am of 1203 Fawn Street here in Tullahoma as recently as last Wednesday. We just moved into town. I'll just kind of introduce the situation. As Andy mentioned, this is a small subdivision of only about 5 total lots. It will sit out in front of our planned home site, which is on a property formerly owned by Dr. Kennedy, which is bordered by Short Springs Road to the west and Albemarle Road and Macon Manor on the east. We plan to build our house about 300 to 500 feet past the cul-de-sac that we propose to build, and we are going to take up the entire remaining 6.29 acres that are left over after this development. So we're here related to 2 issues that were cited in the staff report, and that's first, the seeking of a variance for the sidewalk requirement, and second, to urge you to use your discretion to allow the development despite it not meeting the suggested connectivity index of 1.4, and I'll take both of those in turn. First, in requesting a variance to the sidewalk requirement, we're here just simply appealing to your common sense. The requirement the city seeks to impose is to construct a 5-foot wide, ADA compliant sidewalk along the entire length of one half of our proposed roads. That's roughly 500 feet of sidewalk given the length of the road, which is 484 feet. Our road would intersect with Albemarle Drive there, as you can see in the drawing, where there are no sidewalks, there are no bike paths, there are no other pedestrian walkways other than the street itself. Albemarle Drive is located within Macon Manor. There are no 5-foot wide ADA compliant sidewalks anywhere in Macon Manor. Okay, granting our sidewalk variance request would not be detrimental to the public safety, health, or welfare. Data cited for the Tullahoma 2040 Comprehensive Plan noted just 34 of the 2,800 total crashes collected during the study period involved either a pedestrian or a bicyclist. That's approximately 1%. The second factor is the uniqueness of the variance request. Now, our development is not one that's likely to be repeated often or anytime soon. This development comes out of an existing 50-foot deeded access to an internal street of a previously developed neighborhood where there are no sidewalks. It does not access, our development does not access any major roads or arterial roads or even other city roads. The only thing it accesses is this small subdivision road, Albemarle. I think the best way to think about our subdivision is as though it was a second or third or fourth phase to an existing or pre-developed neighborhood, something that was already done and planned and ready to go, as opposed to a completely new subdivision that comes off of Short Springs or one of these other main roads. So again, we're just appealing to your common sense. The strict letter of the city's regulations would simply require a sidewalk to nowhere. And let's not forget that in a couple of years, the city's going to have to take possession of the sidewalk and maintain it. So we have to think about what's the cost-benefit analysis of maintaining that property on into the future after it's built, when it will be of very little use and very little benefit to anyone who lives either in or around the area. Pedestrians are not going to go out of their way and walk into this cul-de-sac just so they can use a sidewalk. And the folks that do live in the cul-de-sac and use the sidewalk are going to quickly find themselves on the street, just like everyone else that lives in that neighborhood. So the second is that we're seeking the commission to use its discretion, which is inherent in its own regulations, regarding the connectivity index rating. Our basis for this request is very simple. We have no plans to develop the remaining 6.25 acres of that property. That's going to be our home site where we build our house, hopefully enjoy that pond, hopefully enjoy that barn, but there's no plan to further develop in any other lots. And in fact, it would be extremely impractical for us or any future owners to do so, given the lack of access to main thoroughfares or given the fact that there's a pond there that you'd have to build on. As you can see on the drawing that I provided, our home is going to be somewhere, like I said, between 300 to 350 feet from the cul-de-sac, and that's just west of the opening between lots 2 and 3. Really quickly, I think it's important to note again that the connectivity index itself is a guideline. It's not mandatory.
We found out about this on Monday. I'm not prepared. How am I going to be prepared? All of this has obviously been available. It's been available to them. It hasn't been available to us. This is ridiculous. Sidewalks to nowhere, that's ridiculous. I don't think there's sidewalks to nowhere. I think it's the way for this organization to wind up mandating that we put 5-foot wide ADA sidewalks through the entire development. We all went to the Tullahoma 2040 meeting with great expectations of the fact that we were actually going to be able to participate in where the city is going. And yet at the same time that we don't even have anything from the 2040 structure yet, where there's some of it out there. There are references in here to the comprehensive transportation plan. Really? I thought that that's what 2040 was all about. We're going around and around and around. While we're out here trying to participate in making this a better city for everyone, y'all are out here rezoning everything. So how are we going to really have a say in what's going on when the zoning that we need to do as part of this comprehensive plan for the city as a whole has already been done?
I'm Chelsea Sudbury, currently at 1203 Fawn Street here in Tullahoma. It's been really lovely to meet some of our new neighbors. Thank you so much for coming. I am appreciative that we're going to be a part of a neighborhood that shares so much concern for the land, for children, for safety, because our family is absolutely concerned about safety, and to develop this very small cul-de-sac in a smart way that we can all be proud of. What I've heard from our neighbors is that we have a lot of common ground. Our neighbors think that it's a little bit silly to require a 5-foot wide, handicap accessible, ADA compliant sidewalk on our subdivision. I'm hearing also that they wouldn't like to have any further development, and so therefore the 50-foot strip that's being required at the end of the subdivision, they're not in support of that either. Apologies for not looping in the HOA sooner. We absolutely should have done that. We have contacted, we thought, most of the adjoining landowners, and we've had conversations with them privately, and we live and learn, and we will absolutely connect with the HOA.
Staff finds that there are no unique characteristics of the site to warrant the granting of a variance, saying that staff has recommended denial of the preliminary plat based on the deficiencies of the connectivity index from 1.4 to 1, and based on the finding of facts to the variance request to section 4-13.1.
We talked about this before, that we could pull this from consideration here. I've got my future neighbors that are telling me they want to talk to me about it, and I think that's probably fitting for us. And I certainly don't want to put the head in the guillotine for no reason needed. So if it's possible, I'll withdraw it for this consideration, and we'll work on it and come back to you.
All right. For the record, Mr. Sudbury is withdrawing at this time the Sudbury Estate Major Subdivision Preliminary Plat. All right.
The first full day of schools for Tullahoma City Schools will be Monday, August the 2nd. The system issued a statement Monday to address COVID-19 protocols for the start of school. Tullahoma City Schools Director of Schools, Dr. Katerine Stevens, said, quote, even in the midst of a worldwide pandemic, we experienced a successful 2020-2021 school year thanks to our teachers, staff, students, and families. We responded appropriately to the challenges of COVID-19 and made it through a most unusual year. We appreciate all the efforts put in place to ensure that we maintain a safe, healthy, positive, and productive learning environment, end quote. As the new school year approaches, Tullahoma City Schools will be referring to an updated CDC school guidelines to direct COVID-19 practices. This is the first of several communications that the district will publish regarding the start of the 21-22 school year and will provide more information in the coming days and weeks. The following are updates to school system policies. Mask use is recommended for students, teachers, and staff who are not fully vaccinated. Generally, when outdoors, individuals do not need to wear a mask. Tullahoma City Schools will follow CDC recommendations on maintaining 3 feet of physical distance when feasible. The district will continue with enhanced cleaning and disinfecting high traffic use area as well as the overall facilities and buses. Students, teachers, and staff are recommended to continue proper soap and water hand washing routinely throughout the day. Hand sanitizer usage will be acceptable when hand washing is not feasible. Taking temperatures of students, employees, and guests before entering each campus will not be continued during the 21-22 school year. Data from the previous school year did not indicate this was a beneficial practice. Visitors will be welcomed, but on a limited basis in order to reduce possible transmission of COVID-19 or variants based upon school and classroom capabilities at the discretion of school-level administration. Tullahoma City Schools encourage students, teachers, and staff members to stay home when sick. Additionally, the district encourages the use of outdoor classrooms and spaces for learning, exercise, and socialization. Please note that the listed guidelines may be altered based upon local transmission rates or from updated guidelines from the CDC. You can visit the Tullahoma City School website to read the latest guidelines. We'll be right back in a moment after these messages.
What's a Tennessee vacation? It starts off like any road trip, and then, boom, adventure and thrills everywhere you look, which happens to be some of the most beautiful scenery in the country. Music here, history there, and all kinds of green in between. Come relax and unwind, or bring the crowd for some stargazing, or stargazing. Whatever you do, come hungry and expect an awesome soundtrack. It's all right here in Tennessee. We're playing your song. For a free vacation guide, visit tnvacation.com.
Hello, I'm Ray Norris, Mayor of Tullahoma. I want to thank the citizens of Tullahoma who've been following the CDC guidelines for helping prevent the spread of COVID-19. You've been wearing your mask, you've been getting your vaccinations, and I'll tell you, it's working. Today, our positivity rate is less than 5%. That's the lowest it's been since the earliest days of our pandemic. So, now I want to urge each of you to continue to follow these guidelines, and together, let's get this pandemic behind us and get our country back to the old normal where we need to be. Thank you.
Suicide prevention starts with everyday heroes like you. Join us on September 18th at Manchester Rotary Park at 9 a.m. as we walk to fight suicide and raise awareness about mental health. Be a part of the movement turning hope into action and create a culture that's smart about mental health. Funds raised at the walk will benefit the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Sign up at afsp.org/coffeecounty.
Welcome back. The revised reporting of data shows a 28% drop in the number of initial unemployment claims first reported for the week ending July the 10th, 2021, as Tennessee transitioned away from federal pandemic unemployment programs. The U.S. Department of Labor re-emphasized reporting standards for states that moved away from administering federal pandemic unemployment benefits. For the week ending July 10th, the Tennessee Department of Labor and Workforce Development reported 9 9,375 claimants applied for unemployment benefits. Under the reconciled data, the true number of claims for the week is 6,744. This data reflects the number of applications submitted by claimants who worked and earned wages before applying for benefits that week and were not previously receiving other benefits. The federal government requires that the number of initial claims to only reflect news and emerging spells of unemployment, with initial claims that are filed to establish benefit periods following a period of employment, not transitional claims. A transitional claim is the request to establish a successive benefit year dated immediately following a week for which benefits were claimed for the previous benefit year. Moving forward, Tennessee Department of Labor and Workforce Development will report initial claims to the U.S. Department of Labor without the transitional claim data. Tennessee moved away from all federal pandemic unemployment programs the week ending July the 3rd. Many of the applicants who submitted claims for the week ending July the 10th had previously been on the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance and Pandemic Emergency Unemployment Compensation programs. These are transitional claims that are monetarily ineligible to receive benefits from the state's Tennessee Unemployment Compensation Program. The state is ready to help unemployed Tennesseans return to the workforce. They can find the resources available to find job leads and further their education and training, as well as programs that can remove barriers to employment at www.tnworkready.com. Stay with us. Your weather forecast is coming up next.
We're losing it, Doctor.
Not on my shift. Quickly, brush. Roller.
What a transformation. It's going to be okay.
Okay, nothing.
At Paintworks of Tullahoma, we specialize in domestic emergencies with Martin Senior Paints. You can be the paint doctor too when you treat your home with Martin Senior interior and exterior finishes.
Doctor, we've got another one.
Got you covered.
Paintworks of Tullahoma. Come see the paint doctor, Stat.
We teach Parkinson's patients how to move big and not let the Parkinson's slow them down. I've had patients I've treated in-house that could not even stand up, could not roll over in the bed, left the facility walking with a walker, have come back to us in outpatient and continued their big program and are now completely, handling life. The success of the program is just phenomenal.
Let us champion your recovery. Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Welcome back. We'll take a look at your weather forecast at this time, starting with your weather history on this day. Our record high was in 1952 at 101 degrees. The record low was in 1902 at 50 degrees. Average high on this day is 88, and the average low is 68. Mostly clear weather expected tonight with a low of 67. Mostly sunny weather in the forecast for Friday with a high of 88 and a low of 68. Mostly sunny weather continues in the forecast for Saturday with a high of 88 and a low of 71. And that's our newsletter report for this evening. We invite you to join us each Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 6, 8, and 10 for Newsleader on 6. You have a good evening.